Alright, so I figured it was time for a new update. It's been a while since the last one, and I just finished the now named Golden Wave um, fitness or gym area of the game. So before we go to a tour on everything that's new, I just wanted to comment that I was kind of hoping that we were going to get a reply on regarding our previous update the last time, and but since we didn't, I was hoping that maybe this time we could get an answer. I don't know. I don't want to pressure you, but at the same time, I kind of feel like having some sort of feedback, even if it's like very small, like just that this was good or this was bad. That will be enough. I don't really need you to go to every single one of my super obsessive points. I know that I demand a lot, but I don't know. I've been making a lot of changes on the gym, for example, and I have no idea if those are good or bad. And it kind of puts me in a situation where I feel uncomfortable because I end up making decisions for you, and I don't know. I still don't feel very comfortable with that. So, if you have a time, just let us know what you think, if things are going well or not. That's fine. Doesn't have to be a long email. But anyway, here we are. And the first thing you'll notice here is this both the sculpture that I added and the floating logo, the holographic logo. I actually really love this one, and it's quite simple. If it's just a flat plane that I multiply a few times to create the field. Here you can see it. It's just a few overlapped planes, but it creates a really nice effect. I added a fade material on it and actually made the transparency quite low, which generated this sort of blur effect on it that I think looks really great. It helps selling the holographic effect. So that's kind of a cool thing that we can probably use elsewhere. And here we have the reception area. Belen was in charge of making the logo here. I think she did a really cool job on this guy, and she also made a few flyers and posters. We'll be going over those, and as well she helped me out with this. She made these logos, and which are repeated on the different levels, but we'll get to see those now. So let's do a little tour, like if we were going to play this level. So you will start to here. My idea was that this will be the entrance for the level. So this is the locker area that's closed. So you get in, and you have like the sort of presentation to level. You have this reception. Probably here you will have some loot, some items you can get. I was hoping eventually we will get some bigger boxes to fill a bit more. By the way, I don't think these chairs were in here the last time I made a video, so yeah, I wanted to make something a little different, and I actually really like the material on this, and the plastic feels quite realistic, I think, and making the geometry for this was awful, but I made it. I think the chairs look pretty cool. And before we go up, let's check over here. So we have this reception area. Here we have some chairs I made, which I think they look pretty nice, and I think it's something that we can use in several places, so that's pretty useful. And we have these computer terminals that I'm guessing the people on the reception here will use to to book you in and whatever. And these are pretty cute, I think. They have like a tiny USB ports in there. Here, oh sorry, over here you have like the little speaker, and you have like a error message in there. Trying to make this feel modern, but at the same time more real. I added a little logo, some generic company information and warnings. Trying to make things feel more natural. And yeah, here we have the elevator, which in here the elevator shaft is open, and we can see the call button, but it's not functional. and we can jump into the shaft, but the stair it's broken here, so we won't be able to climb just yet. You can see the elevator over here. We'll check it out later. So I guess that the only way we can continue to move on is going through the stairs. So let's go up to the first floor, and the first floor it's themed for sports, as you can see. So here we have this sort of acrylic structure that you have over here, and this is the sort of a small basketball court, and I added the acrylic because I felt that any sport that involves some sort of ball will be really dangerous in a place we know a big shaft opens. It will fall in someone's head. So I figure, there will be either a net or something like this to prevent it. And so we saw this guy the last time, so nothing new over there. But I think this room looks pretty cool. And here we have another one that this is for ping pong. So we have the ping pong tables, little balls, of the different elements there, and here we have the first sample of the damage system that I implemented on this level. So as I mentioned in my last videos, all of these different wall panels were removable, and on this update I finally made the backside for them, and which is similar to the material that you'll see when it's burned. What gets exposed is the same material that you'll see on the backside, sort of to make this make sense. And then I added this sort of back panel with different pipes and elements and details on it, and that gets revealed when the panels are removed, or at least moved, like in some places like this. We'll see a few more examples of this as we move along, but that's just the first preview of what damage looks like in here. So going up, and you can see here the little sports logo. We're going up to the third floor, which, as the logo shows, is the relax area. So here we have, few more chairs, a few things, and first we have these Pilates machines, which lighting's a bit dark here, so I can't quite see them. I think on the other side it's kind of the same, but these were pretty fun to make, and they have quite a bit of detail, like trying to make these machines fairly accurate in case somebody actually used them in real life. They'll be able to recognize them and recognize how they work. But yeah, so the idea is that here we have this this Pilates room, machine, sorry. Then you go on over here, and you have a few other of these guys, and this one you can see a little bit more. And you also have these ones, which are for these are massage chairs, actually, and they're pretty cool. I like the way this is based on a real model. I like the way that everything works to allow you to put this in different positions depending on what you need. But yeah, it's nothing special, but I think that sort of made sense that you have an area to unwind and relax, and after your workout section is done. Here you have a few other examples of panel damage that I quite like, because they help really break up the monotony of the level. Here you can sort of feel like maybe some circuit or something exploded inside, and sort of like push the walls outside. And yeah, so let's go up. Here we have another floor. Here we can see an example of, we saw these machines last time, but Belen also made a few motivational posters for me. The kind of its type of thing you will expect to see on a shim. And here we have a bit more damage. Here you can see a bit more of the inner panels and inner workings of this level. And here the panel just exploded and fell on the ground over here. So that's a kind of a different example. And the explosion was so hard that actually one of these chairs came out flying and just kind of broke through the handrail there, which is another thing I forgot I added. I added several instances of broken handrails. There's a few examples just to, make sure I spread the damage everywhere on the level. And so this time, these ones have more lighting. I remember I mentioned this last time and didn't quite get the chance to show them off, but yeah, this is here you'll have the dumbbell rack here, and here's another poster which is pretty cool, I think. And here's a bit more damage. Yeah, let's see. Let's move on. So this is the continuing with the musculation area. Again, we have other examples of damage. We also edged the damage on the ceiling like last time. And we have these vertical knee raise machines we saw last time. Here we have some more chairs. Let's see. All right, so here we have some other new stuff. Another poster, and we have these punching bags over here. These were pretty cool. I like the way the straps and sort of go through the ring here, and they do so in real life. I just like the way this works. And the same goes for these speed bags here. The mechanism for holding this in is actually quite complex. I try to make it as accurate as possible. So yeah, so now you have these machines to train. And oh, here's the elevator, which is just stuck on this level. So you can climb in. The inside of the elevator is quite detailed, actually. Just never. I was going to add lighting to it, but I figured that having it dark like this was also kind of cool. Maybe we could add some items. Corpses is something I would like to have eventually to add around levels, but also like maybe some items or whatever. Let's see, let's keep going. Oh yeah, we have a boxing ring here now. So yeah, this one has like a little stair here, or you can climb up. You have like a red corner and the blue corner over here. I think it will be awesome to have some sort of enemy standing here, like a melee base enemy. You could like jump in if you want to and try to fight with him. The funny thing about the panels here is that I try to make the damage feel like somebody got punched really hard and into the walls, so they are all like bent towards the inside over here. Same here. I like how we can simulate metal bending by just using the panels and twisting them in this way. And yeah, all right, so as usual, you can see the logo changing on each level, and now we're starting to move up to the last section of the level, which is the aerobics. And here we have more exposed and panels with damage, and I think you saw these elliptical machines last time. All right, let's see what else. So we go out through here, and finally we get to this place where we'll notice that the stairs on the last level have fallen and they broke out here, so we can't quite keep going up. So my idea here was that you'll have to go back all the way here and now get through the elevator shaft. So this is the elevator ceiling actually, and from here you can climb up the stairs on the elevator shaft. So you can get to the next level. So here we have the aerobic section from before. And here's some more damage. And here we have the steps. And well, we can't quite climb through these stairs. Maybe we'll be able to jump. I'm not sure if the game mechanics will allow for that sort of thing. But if not, you can just go up through the elevator shaft another floor, and you'll finally be on the last floor over here, where you have the exit to the level. So yeah, that's I think that's the full level now. So unless you want me to go back and do any changes or anything else, I think I'm going to call this finished now and move on to something else. So before we move on, just to review the changes I did from the last time, mostly focused on polishing, which came to lighting. I did a lot of work on the lighting and I tried different tones of colors, different color combinations as well, and I did a few things. I also optimized the lighting a little bit to make sure the scene, even right now without LEDs, if you look down here, it the performance takes a hit a little bit, but otherwise it runs pretty well. So I wanted to try to maintain it that. And oh yeah, I also added these glowing edges here, which I think look pretty nice. And so yeah, so my focus was lighting and finishing up all of the damage here. Doing the back size on these walls was quite a lot of work, but turned out pretty well, especially because I wanted to make sure that the panels and the back size made sense. I didn't want these to be just random. And then just I ended up finishing all of the smaller items, like I was missing a few machines like the Pilates and the massage chairs, all of these machines here, and this acrylic section, and then just all of the items here in the reception area to just try to wrap this up and make it feel more like a complete level, like something you will see in a game. And yeah, I guess you'll have noticed the animation I made here for these waves here. I made this in Shader Forge, which is what I usually use for this type of effect. And Shader Forge is actually no longer being developed the same way that happened with the alloy material. I'm guessing the reason is the same. Unity 2018 has its own node-based material editor, so there's no need for it. But for the time being, since I wanted this and it took some work to get this effect to work, wanted to make it feel as complex as possible, and didn't want to feel like something that's the same animation looping all the time. And since I knew that was going to take some back and forth, I decided to make it now, and hopefully I'm hoping that the logic on the nodes for Unity 2018 will be more or less the same, so I'll be able to just recreate the same material on once we had the new version of Unity. But yeah, I think the end result came out pretty well. I quite like this. It feels really solid, and I also there's a few items like these computers and chairs and a few other things that I think are very useful assets that we can use in several places. And yeah, I think that's basically all there is to say on this level. So I'm going to disable the fitness room and quickly go to Joaquin's room and show you kind of the changes he's been making here. So first of all, he's been working on trying to wrap up this entire area. He's been working on polishing up the poles and the ceiling, which was a work in progress last time. Now it's finished. All of these little assets here and everything. It's more in a finished state. He added this. I quite like this ceiling texture here. It's kind of dark. I'm not sure if video compression is going to let us see it, but it's quite cool. And this side of the wall is also more finished now. And his focus has been mostly on. Oh, by the way, this effect here on the glass wasn't working the last time, but now it is, and actually think it looks kind of cool now that the glasses are working a little bit better. But the focus on Joaquin's side has been on this room, the pump room, which is still a work in progress. Especially these machines, he's advanced a bit more, but for this version here, he's added this one. But I think this looks really cool, and hopefully, I think we'll be able to reuse most of these assets. I was hoping to add a bigger pump room maybe, because I don't know. I feel like this is a lot of work for just a tiny area, and so hopefully we can use this for more stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up all of the stuff we've been making on this last couple of weeks. I wanted to make this video shorter because all of our videos have been pretty long lately, but I'm hoping that covers everything. So yeah, what's next? Well, Joaquin needs to finish the pump room, and then he's going to go back here to this area and try to finish it up. What's left from there is to add damage and to add smaller props, like chairs, and there's like tape and different things all scattered around at this level and on the concept. So we want to try to recreate that. And on my end, I think that the fitness room is done now, so I'm going to move on to something else. Now, from the batch of concept art that you sent us, the last thing that is missing is the arcade room, and the one with the arcade games. But I was hoping to either work with that in parallel with Joaquin, because I want to make a lot of arcade machines and I want to make them feel different. So I figure, if he makes a few and I make a few, we'll have a lot of variety there. So until he's finished with this room and we can both move to the arcade room, I was hoping that I could work on something else. So my options are either you could send me a new batch of concept art of 2 or 3 other levels that you think are important, and I'll work on any of those, or I can go back to the industrial area and work a bit more. I think that while I wait for your response, I'm going to be doing that. Or also, I know that it's going to be a while until we get to this level, but I kind of wanted to start working on the asylum level. I had ideas for both the corridors. Since they're going to be pretty much the main feature of the level, I wanted to make them as modular as possible so we can make like 1,000 different versions. So I had some ideas on both that and the larger areas that can be seen on the map. So I can work on that if you want to, but let me know what's your priority, and of course I'll focus on that. So yeah, I think that's all we have for now. I hope you liked how everything ended and how everything's coming along on Joaquin's side as well, and yeah, if you can, please let us know. Just, it doesn't have to be long. Just a quick email like, hey, I like this, I didn't like this, that's fine. And yeah, hope you have a great weekend, and goodbye.